How's it going, everybody? Welcome into another video. Today we've got a fun one because I'm going to be playing with some discs that you're probably not too familiar with. So working at a disc golf company and producing disc golf content all the time, I come into contact with a lot of weird discs. Discs that we get specifically for content, but then also most of the time discs that come into our used section at the retail store, or discs we just kind of find out in the wild. And what I've done is I basically looked around the office and tried to find a collection of some of the more fascinating discs to kind of create a small little bag here. Some discs that really have all kind of wacky characteristics. And basically the way today's challenge is going to go is I'm going to get one chance to throw each of these discs in a field to get a quick feel for how they go, just one chance, and then I'm going to play a 9-hole loop with the goal of shooting under par. And now I'm out at the East Campus course, haven't been here in a while, and it's not a super challenging loop I'll be playing, but considering what I'm working with, I think under par would be quite extraordinary. So we'll see how it goes. So just to run through the bag real quick here, we've got, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 discs. This first one here is called the Depth Charge from Doomsday Discs. This is basically a hockey puck. It literally has square edges. It feels unique, we'll say, to be kind, but I don't really know what it's gonna do. Maybe it'll be good in the wind. I guess that's our putter. Don't know that we'll actually be putting with that. Don't know if it fits in this bag very well. Okay, some other kind of putter discs we've got. We've got the Hydrogen, or the Loft Neon. This is like an overstable approach disc. These guys were famous for making the discs that claim to have zero fade or zero glide, or it was a 1-speed, something like that. But this is a super concave disc. You could eat cereal out of this thing, and feels okay. I think I've thrown this maybe once or twice. I don't remember what it does. Then I have the Baobab, which I'm also not super familiar with, but people say this is like the most overstable approach disc ever. It also has a weird like lip on it. It's a weird disc. This one's a fun one. This is a PGA Tour branded mid-range. So who knows what that's about. I think I threw that once in a video, but I don't remember what it does. Also never thrown this. This is a Gateway prototype. So this thing probably isn't even legal. And it also is kind of a hockey puck. Got a couple of those. Then we move on to our faster discs. We've got 4 drivers. We've got the Michelin from Latitude 64 with these dimples all over it. Supposed to do dimple technology, so that's a good time. Looks very high tech. We've got the brand new ET2. If you've never seen this from Trash Panda, the Gateway collab, it's got a different sized rim depending on where you're gripping it. It starts out thin and it gets thick. This thing does fly pretty well though. I do have a decent idea of what this does because I've thrown it recently. I then found this one. This is the YDDS Ultimate Performance Disc Golf Series driver. Seems like a decent time. It's hard as a rock. And then finally, the Raging Inferno from Quest A Technologies, Quest Advanced Technologies. Another one that has dimples and feels awful and claims to be a 14 speed, even though it has the rim width of, I would guess, a 12. So this is what we're working with. Let's see how it flies. We'll start with the slow discs. We'll go with our Depth Charge. The key is to make sure I throw a shot that shows me at least something about what the disc does. So we just got to get some air on it, not throw it super hard. Okay, that turned a little bit. So that disc is going to be kind of straight. Ooh, should have warmed up. Let's check out our Baobab. I think I know what this is going to do. We are into a little bit of a headwind up the hill here. Yeah, that's super overstable. Also went absolutely nowhere. Distance could be a struggle out here. We got our Neon. This should also be pretty overstable, I'd imagine. Try to flex it. Okay. Not as overstable. That's like more usable overstability. We have our other hockey puck, the Gateway prototype. This one feels like it might not be that stable. We're gonna get a little hyzer into this headwind. Ooh, didn't get a good read on that one. It didn't flip at all though. Got a lot of discs that don't go far and don't do much. Let's try our PGA Tour mid-range. This has to flip. It's light. This thing weighs like 140 grams. Doesn't feel good either. Okay, that's flippy. That was actually quite a lovely flight. PGA Tour mid-ranges are my favorite so far. Okay, now we have the Michelin with OptoHex technology. I wonder why this didn't catch on. It even has grip zones. It's kind of a good time. This thing feels fast. I hope it's not super flippy. I hope it like is usable. Oh, it's more than usable. That is kind of tough to see that in the tree line if you're looking through the camera there, but that flipped up not even quite to flat and just went far. That's a great disc. Try the YDDS driver. This should be very flippy. Feels like it at least. Oh, rolled it over into the woods. We may have just lost the YDDS driver. I hope you didn't fall in love with it. Last but not least, we got the Raging Inferno. This isn't my last one. I still have to throw the ET2, I lied. Super flippy, roller level disc there, as expected. And then I think these ET2s have like a little bit of stability to them. I'm gonna throw a forehand. I need to get the forehand loose. Gosh, that didn't feel great. That disc looks so weird in the air because it looks like it's wobbling. Okay, the bag seems somewhat usable. I feel more confident than I was when I showed up. The putter situation is rough. Okay, just a side note, this Michelin thing went super far. I mean, uphill into a headwind, I didn't even throw it that far, and it went probably 350, 360. That's a pretty good disc. All right, now we've thrown all our discs. As I mentioned, we're playing a 9-hole loop. We're gonna play 10 through 18. Yeah, this is hole 10 now. It always throws me off because this course used to be a 20-hole course. So yeah, we should just be able to play 10 through 18, and then the goal is to be under par. And this is kind of the scoring 9, but it's gonna be tough with these discs, believe me. So the first hole, this one is 340 feet. You can probably just see the top of the basket out there, but it finishes kind of on a hillside. You're throwing downhill initially. I usually like to go with a fairway here, which I don't have. I think ET2 is my best bet because even I can just throw it on the fairway part and act like it's a fairway. I think the goal is to flex it a little bit and hope it comes back and just try to keep it in the middle. This is a great opportunity to get a birdie though. I won't lie, this is one of the better ones. Oh, that's so good. That's right at it. Oh my goodness. Oh my, that's literally like 3 feet from the pin. That was beautiful. Like, threw it kind of more direct at the basket than I wanted, but it flexed a little bit and then just didn't fade a ton. So it kind of just faded just like a few feet at the end. And that's park. That's a birdie start. This is probably the best shot I've ever thrown on this hole. And I'll be honest, in a video where putting will be a severe difficulty, both with my putting skill and the discs at our disposal, I do not mind having that tap in to get us to 1 under par. Because as much as shooting under par will be difficult out here, that's mostly related to just getting birdies. There's not a ton of bogeys until later on, I feel like, so that's a huge start. This is by far the easiest hole on the back 9 here. It's only 185 feet up to a hanging basket. It is a little more tricky than it used to be because its short tee was like way up there, but at least now you have to like think about it. I think this is the perfect line for our PGA Tour mid-range. I won't lie. That little left to right glidey shot. I mean, this thing is literally like it's brittle. It is brittle. And it's kind of cold out here, but that's just kind of how this plastic is. It's very cheap. It has a huge dome, but you can't push it down. All right, this is gonna be great. Oh, I threw it so bad. Ugh, it kind of slid up there. That came out very early and left and low. That's unfortunately me throwing uphill the movie is what that is. I think this needs to be a business decision here. And what the heck, I'm gonna run it with the depth charge. This disc has like one chance to wow me or else it's never being used again. Oddly, I don't hate it right now on this putt. Ooh, all right. I mean, that came out about as slow as anything ever thrown, but at least stayed near the basket. All right, so that's a tap in par. Not a great par. The next hole though is where things start getting a little more legit. So like I mentioned, things start getting a little spicy at this point because now we have a very downhill 350-foot par 3 where I have to really trust one of these discs to do what it's advertised to do. Like, we're gonna go with the Neon, and hopefully this goes far enough. Typically I like to go with the mid with a little more push, but the goal is to just kind of throw it flat and then let it crash at the end And this won't go long, which can be a miss, so that's at least good. We're just gonna kind of rip on it. Oh, I don't hate that. It's very short though. Big skip. Yeah, I mean, that disc just doesn't glide. I don't think that's what it's meant to do. I mean, probably should have taken the hint when I saw the entire top was inverted, but that thing crashed intense because I threw it pretty hard. That would be really short. Birdie's gonna be tough. I'm really glad I got that first birdie because they're gonna be tough to come by. Not ideal, but should be an easy up and down. Probably gonna be a lot of those in this video. Depth charge. Got to go to the hot hand here. Throw the depth charge. Maybe I'll give it a little nose up, a little bid. I shouldn't have said that. I should have just let it play out. We're gonna try to give it a bid. You know what? I kind of like that. Very controllable, and it just kind of falls down at the end, you know? Might be falling in love with the depth charge here. Sheesh. Well, this is my first putt of any sort of challenge today. It's not a far one, it's about 15 feet, but you know me. I decided to go with the Baobab because though it is comedically overstable, it is the only baseline disc I have, and it doesn't feel that bad in a putt. I've been adding a little bit of pizzazz to my putt recently, a little bit of spin, so that'll be something. That worked out. That was pretty ugly, but it went in. I will say, like, and I haven't improved my putting very much. I mean, you watch my last video, I missed a tap in on the first hole. But I've improved my putting enough that I have, or at least I've used the same putter consistently enough, like over the last couple years, that whenever I do pick up something weird, it does actually feel foreign, where I used to just not care. Just didn't bother me. I think I want to raise the stakes to make things interesting because I think this finish it'll be kind of tough. I think if I'm not able to succeed, I'm gonna have to put one of these discs in my bag for, let's say, 3 months, because none of these discs would be fun to have in my bag and use. So let's spice things up. We're on hole 13 now. Time to break out the secret weapon, the Michelin. Now, something I learned about the Michelin is I've only ever seen the Michelin in this like weird dimple plastic, but I think looking at the PDGA approved website, it seems that the first Michelins, you can let me know in the comments. Sorry if you can hear the marching band practicing in the background. They sound great though. The first Michelins didn't appear to have this, so it seems like maybe they just applied the technology to this mold. I don't know. It's a very fast disc. I think it'll be great for a forehand. It's a little narrow for my liking, or a little shallow, I should say, but 300-foot forehand here. But there's a huge drop off in front down a hill, so you kind of have to land it. You got to get it there. There's also a lot of paintballs on the front of this tee pack. As fun fact, on the other side of the tree line here is the campus paintball field. So yeah, so we're just gonna try and rip this. I think I need to throw it kind of flat and low. So you know that's my specialty. Oh, I just turned. Okay, well. I really committed to that, so I don't really feel like I did anything I wasn't trying to do. Maybe I got a little excessive with the wrist roll over there, but yeah, it's not that stable. It probably doesn't help that my only gauge of that disc was throwing it stiff uphill into a headwind. So yeah, that's not great. I'm super tempted to take some of this paint and really stylize my white shoes, because they're not white anymore, obviously, which is fine, but they could use a little glamour. Did I just go like side of the foot straight into that? Or is that a mistake? Very tempting. I don't even know if I can get my ankle at that. Oh, I totally could. I'm gonna go for it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Intrusive thoughts. Since you can't see the green from the tee, I'll let you appreciate this giant bowl that is in front. So we're somewhere down in here. We kind of got pin high, but we are throwing upwards now. This does feel like a depth charge shot, but I feel like the Prodigy prototype deserves a chance. So we're gonna give it a try and just kind of try to throw it flat up there at the basket. Maybe try and land it just past. I think that actually sat up there. That's okay. Didn't throw it as hard as I want to, but that should be a pretty easy putt. It's really gorgeous playing disc golf up on the mountain this time of year, or at least what we Virginians call a mountain. This is that time of the year you're gonna start seeing a lot more videos at sunset because it gets dark at 5 o'clock. All right, we'll tap in, nothing for the Baobab, nothing to worry about. Boom, not bad. I find the one scary thing about putting with this Baobab is because it has like this almost lip on top, you can catch your thumb on it as you're releasing the putt. It's not ideal. Okay, we're still doing all right, but it is a little nerve-wracking that we are still only have that one birdie because the next stretch is a little bit harder to get. So if you take a bogey now, it's a little sketchy. 14 is a tough one. This one is 315 feet, but it plays way further than that up the hill. And as you can tell, the tee pad is pointing in this direction, AKA where the old basket used to be. Now it's funny because they did just install this tee pad, so I'm not sure why they kept it pointing in the same direction. But the new basket is up there to the right on the hill. So you really have to commit to pulling something over there. It's doable with a forehand, but not with the discs I have. So I think it might be time for the Raging Inferno. That's a sentence that not many disc golfers get to say. I know this thing is like uselessly flippy, but that's what you need because everything wants to stall down the hill. You have to throw something very flippy to get it to go right. So that's what we're doing. From the Raging Inferno, we're gonna throw it like kind of flat because I just don't want to go left, and I don't really trust it to flip if I do. Or maybe I'll just take it more direct and give it a little bit of hyzer. If this thing goes left, I'm just impressed. Oh, it came out so bad, but thank goodness I threw it on hyzer. Ouch. Okay. Oh, that was a bad throw all around. It hurt. Threw it early left. I'm still just so struggling, guys, to like not completely step in front of myself and just throw straight into my hip. Like I really need to open up and figure something out. That ended up okay. The gravel mostly killed it. It'll be an upshot, nothing disastrous. Simple upshot from here, but we're gonna try and give it another little run. We'll go with our Gateway prototype, little forehand. I've been liking the way this flies. See how this works. Actually, fun fact, visited the Gateway factory a couple years ago, and they gave us the story behind all these prototypes, but I don't really remember any of it. So at one point I knew something about this disc. That was a fun story, Trevor. Oh, I yanked it. Dang, still a decent shot. Okay, we're gonna tap that in for another par. So we're steady with the pars, but the next hole is not bad. The hole after is gonna be the hardest hole, for sure. Okay, so we've moved to 16 because hole 15, which is a downhill, it's like straight downhill kind of tunnel shot. It's a decent, that made it sound cooler than it is. It's not that cool, but they're doing some work near the basket, and I didn't want to impose on them and have a depth mine accident occur. So we'll just play hole 1 at the end of so it's actually a harder hole. We'll play that at the end of the 18, so we still have our 9 holes. Not a big deal. Hole 16, this is a newer tee pad. It's 250 feet, and you can see the basket sits on a little hump down there. On the right side, that gravel road is OB. So you kind of have to decide how aggressive you want to get. I think we're gonna go back to our neon here and really trust it to finish left, because I wouldn't mind having a birdie putt, but also a bogey here would be disastrous. So we're gonna really trust in this disc here. See what happens. I still chickened out a little bit. That was a lot of hyzer. Actually, if it gets a little roll though, great roll. That's a look. That is a look, but that disc is actually kind of legit. What I needed was a Gateway prototype on that same line. Nope, that thing is also super stable. What I needed was not the discs I have. Okay, this is actually a pretty decent look here with really nothing to worry about with the Baobab, so we're gonna give this a bid. This could really seal the deal if I can make this, I feel like. Oh man, it's so you know, you got a stable disc even with a putt from that distance. I felt like that thing was just yanking left at the end. Oh man, that's a bummer. That would have been a nice one to have, for sure. Just a lot of pars, but now we have to play impossible par 3, so it's just really hard to even par. Pretty gettable par 4 with a tough tee shot, and then a tough par 3 to finish. Let me know in the comments down below which disc you would love to try out, and comment that, and then maybe I'll give one away. In fact, I will give one away to somebody who wants to try one of these discs out. So if you're like, hey, that Gateway prototype looks awesome, just comment that, and then I will maybe choose you and send it out. Now I did just have a realization. I was trying to sell this hole as impossible par 3, but I forgot they finally came to their senses and they changed it. It is a par 4 now, Great news for us. Still not a super easy par 4. That's what I'm saying. Like, making 3 is hard here, but basically it's a chip hyzer around the corner, and then you have to hope you're in good position to get up and down. Now it becomes a much like easier par 4, whereas it used to be like so dumb because it was like, gosh, I sure hope I get up and down for 3 to not take a dumb bogey. So they did change that. It's gonna take a while for me to remember that. We're gonna go with our Prodigy Proto off the, that could be a mistake. I might lose this under the leaves. Let's go Baobab. Let's go Baobab off the tee. We're just trying to give it some height and get it left as possible. That looks pretty good. Yeah. I see, it's so hard to get left on this hole. It's actually helpful to have the Baobab because that thing really just yanks left. Because if you push too much, you hit that back wall and then you're in jail. Yeah, this is pretty crazy because I thought I was like pretty left and I'm on the right side. Like with now I have this really awkward patent pending. This hole, like it's deceptive how left you have to be. Almost slipped. Yeah, so now we're basically boxed out. I think I'll go with the PGA Tour mid-range because it'll turn. That just sounds wrong. Patent pendings are not my specialty, but because like for somebody who's good at this shot, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. For me, it's tough. You got to give it height, let it turn on its own, and make sure we start it outside with turn. Well, that looks good. Okay, I think that's putting. I think that was pretty well done. Short little putt here. Let's make sure we execute. This would be a nice birdie to have, a little insurance. Boom. All right, that's sick. 2 under now. If we can get off the tee on this next hole, probably should be home free at that point. All right, hole 18. Remember, we have one more after this. This hole is a par 4. We start kind of in a wooded tunnel, and then it goes way wide open into that first field we were actually throwing the discs on, actually. So if you get off the tee, there's just no trouble from that point on. We're gonna go backhand, just rip the missile in and try to throw a bomb here. Because I want to see what this can do. Straight into the sun, I might add. Hopefully it flips up, because I'm not going to throw it on Anheuser and risk turning into the woods. Oh my laced. Dude, that disc is sick. That was straight up the gut, dead straight, way out there. That was a bomb. This was a massive drive. So we only have about 200 feet in. We're gonna go with our Baobab and just try and chuck a hyzer nice and close, seal the deal. That's just something special. Oh, that is really short. I got a lot of distance on go far, and then I threw one that does, and it decepted me. Decepted? Wow, that's a new word I just invented. It deceived me. It deceived me. All right, let's see. I want to make a long Baobab putt. This would be a great one to make here. Doesn't even matter if we run it past in bogey, really. Oh, it's just low. How fitting for that to be low. Well, with one hole left, we just have to avoid double bogey. Honestly, I want to just avoid bogey in general because bogey free would be kind of sick. Are the trees just not looking beautiful this time of year? Goodness. What a beautiful evening. This is the last hole here. I think we're gonna go missiling again because this hole is what is technically hole 1. It's 340 foot par 3 going into the woods. Just gonna try and rip a hyzer in there towards the basket. Turn off that tree. Oh, that's not bad. A little bit short and right. I really enjoy that disc. How about a little depth mine scuba? That'll work. That was more like a depth mine roller. All right, there we go. Challenge completed and wasn't so bad. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Also make sure to subscribe because we're about to hit 30K and we're gonna do a big giveaway when we do. Thanks for watching. I've got some great videos coming up. So don't forget to check in every Monday and I will see you then.